Alrighty, welcome everyone to the Future Decoded, the podcast where we explore the technology that's shaping our future before it actually gets here. I'm your host, Alex. Today I'm going to be starting out our series on one of the most powerful pieces of technology nowadays humans have ever made. And joining me today is my good friend, Chase.
Hey everybody, and before we start, I want it on record that when Alexander first told me he was doing a podcast about supercomputers, I imagined a giant laptop wearing a cape.
Honestly, that's not the worst description I've ever heard.
Thank you, I worked very hard on that image.
So, let's get started with the most basic question. What is a supercomputer? Most people heard the word and think it's just some really expensive gaming PC.
Wait, it's not?
No! A gaming computer might have powerful processors, but a supercomputer has thousands of processors working together at the same time. Imagine trying to move a mountain. A normal computer is one person with a shovel. A supercomputer is an entire army with bulldozers.
Okay, that's actually a pretty good comparison.
These machines are designed to solve problems that would take normal computers years, decades, or even sometimes centuries. One of the most powerful supercomputers in the world today is called Frontier. It can perform over 1 quintillion calculations every second.
You lost me after a trillion.
Honestly, me too. At some point, the numbers become less math, more emotional damage.
So what are these machines actually doing? Like, nobody wakes up and says, you know what? I need a quintillion calculations today.
Fair point. Supercomputers are mostly used for really complicated simulations and predictions. For example, weather forecasting. Every time you check the weather app, there's a good chance a supercomputer helped out create that forecast.
So when it says 0% chance of rain and I get soaked walking home,
You can blame science.
perfect. Continue.
Science also uses supercomputers to study climate change, disease, genetics, engineering, and even space exploration. Basically, whenever there's a problem too big for a normal computer, supercomputers get involved.
Okay, but your research paper wasn't just about computers. It was about decision making. What's the connection?
That's where things get a little interesting. Every major decision depends on information. The better the information, the better the decision. Imagine you're the mayor of a city, and a hurricane is heading your way. You need to decide whether to evacuate thousands of people. That's a huge decision. Supercomputers can analyze weather patterns, wind speeds, and ocean temperatures, and dozens of other varieties to help you predict what's going to happen.
So instead of guessing, you're making decisions based on massive amounts of data.
Exactly. Supercomputers reduce uncertainty. They help humans make more informed choices.
That actually sounds amazing. Why isn't anyone talking about these things more?
Because they're usually hidden behind scenes. People see the results without seeing the machine doing the work. Take healthcare. Research used supercomputers to analyze DNA sequences and study diseases, right? Instead of testing millions of possible treatments just to get one that works, supercomputers can simulate thousands or even millions of possibilities all at once.
That's wild. So they can basically speed up medical research?
Exactly. Some discoveries might take years, can happen much faster thanks to them. Thanks to them, they can process all that information simultaneously, helping out a lot of research.
Alrighty. So these machines aren't just making life easier, they're potentially saving lives.
Oh, 100%, man. Other sections of the world like business also use them. Companies can analyze things like customer behavior, shipping routes, market trends, and supply chains. Government uses them for national security and emergency planning for, let's say, a zombie apocalypse, you know? Even artificial intelligence depends heavily on them.
Yes, the zombie part of the episode.
We're saving the most of that for episode 2, don't worry. But modern AI requires, enormous computing power nowadays. ChatGPT and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Without supercomputers, many of today's advanced AI systems wouldn't exist.
So scary that robots need giant computers first. Good to know. Don't let them have it.
Of course, supercomputers aren't perfect. One problem is the cost. The systems can cost hundreds of millions of dollars just to build one.
Okay. I can afford that, actually. I can't afford that. Sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say, buddy, what you mean you got hundreds of millions just laying around? Another big issue, actually, since we're talking about this, is things like energy consumption. These machines use enormous amounts of electricity and cooling. Some researchers have even raised concerns about environmental impact.
So they're helping solve problems, but creating other problems.
Exactly. Technology isn't rarely all good and bad. That's usually a trade-off,
Can I ask a serious question?
Go for it.
If supercomputers become good enough at predicting things, could humans eventually stop making important decisions themselves?
That's actually one of the biggest questions experts are asking right now. Computers can process information faster than humans already, but they don't understand morality, right? They don't understand empathy, they don't understand consequences the way that people do with all the experience they got. A supercomputer might tell you what statistically is the best option to go for at the moment, but that doesn't tell you that is the right option just because it's statistically correct.
So, intelligence isn't the same thing as wisdom.
Exactly, man. And that's why humans and their judgment is so important for this process. The future probably isn't computers replacing humans, but computers helping humans make better decisions. The truth is that supercomputers are already changing the world. They're helping predict things like natural disasters and even advancing medicine. They're improving scientific research and they're becoming a major part of how governments, business, and researchers make decisions. The question isn't whether they'll influence the future, the question is much how they will influence and where we're willing to give them. How much influence we're willing to give them.
That honestly sounds like a great setup for our next episode.
Because next time we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence and how supercomputers created.
Yay!
How it's changing decision making and whether we should actually trust it,
Spoiler alert, I'm already suspicious.
I figured as much. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Thanks for listening to episode 1 of The Future Decoded. I am Alex.
Oh, and I'm Chase.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.